The Beyond the Fame podcast is fed by Lido Pizza. Lido Pizza never cuts corners. For menu and locations, visit LidoPizza.com. And of course, this podcast would not be possible without our longtime title sponsor, the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Kicking off October entertainment is Melissa Etheridge on October 3rd and Mariachi Vargas on October 4th. Details and tickets at HollywoodCasinoCharlestown.com. Must be 21 to enter the casino floor and attend a show. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. The prolific punk band Violent Femmes rocks the Lyric in Baltimore, Maryland this Sunday, October 5th. I spoke with drummer John Sparrow about smash hits like Blister in the Sun, as well as deeper cuts as we break down every album. Hey, John Sparrow, drummer for Violent Femmes. Hey, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
We are talking because Violent Femmes are coming to the Lyric in Baltimore, Maryland on October 5th. And before I even get to that, I want to point out, listeners can't see it, but when you were sitting down and we were arranging this, you had on a Luca Brasi t-shirt. Godfather is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Oh, man, right? Mine too. Yeah, my girlfriend, Nadia, she bought this for me. You know how many times I've been in airports and people come up to me and they'll say, hey, man, and I'm like, I love your shirt. So that's cool.
It's great. Not only is it a pop culture, mainstream line, gangster movie fans, but next time they come say that, I want you to hit them with a little cool Coppola directing technique, symbolic foreshadowing, right? So everybody knows Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishies. The line that happens when, after he's dead and they give him the fish.
And Michael puts the phone down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to call Luca Brasi, right? And then I forgot who came in, Rocco or somebody.
Yeah, he puts the bloody fish inside Luca Brasi's bulletproof vest. It's a Sicilian message. It's like Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishies. He puts the phone down. Yes, all right. So that's the famous scene. But I want you to go back and look before the scene where they actually kill Luca Brasi. Remember, they stab him through the hand and choke him at the bar. Coppola shoots that through a window, and there's a fish pattern on the window. So he's foreshadowing he's going to sleep with the fishies later. There's all kinds of stuff like that.
Wow, dude, you're like, that's deep cut stuff. Yeah,
I love it.
No, I will check it out. I've watched it. I used to have the box set on VHS years ago.
I teach film history up here, so it's
okay.
That's more my but I love music too. So let's dive into the music. But when I saw your shirt, I was like, I gotta comment on that.
No worries. That's cool, man. That's really cool.
Awesome. All right, well, you are not Luca Brasi, you are John Sparrow, and that's
true.
That's some wild synergy too, because I was just interviewing Buck Cherry right before this, and their original band name was Sparrow, and your last name is Sparrow, so it's kind of freaking me out a little bit. That's weird.
Well, originally it was Wróblewski. But Wróbel in Polish means sparrow.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah, we changed it years ago. Yeah.
Wait, so you're a ski? My wife is a ski. There's Mansky, also Polish, but yeah. Swampkis and all that stuff is in your family.
You got it. Puchkas and all of it.
I love it. Well, John Sparrow, and that's who we're talking about. Again, drummer for Violent Femmes, because Baltimore, Maryland, on the 5th at the Lyric. And this tour, you're calling it Grasp and Reach for a Leg of Hope. That's the tour name, right? Now, that's a lyric from Added Up off the very first album, right? So why was that fitting to bring back for this tour?
I don't make those decisions. For the most part, we're going to be playing the majority of those songs, but really that comes down to Brian Ritchie. Brian Ritchie is the music director, so he decides what we're going to play. On these last few tours, we were celebrating both the first and the second album, Howl Ground, but now this is going to be a little different. Whereas, we're going to mix it up from all the albums, as far as I know. But Brian might change that,
Well, there's no shortage of tunes to choose from, so it's going to be a great show.
No kidding.
You joined in 2005, so exactly 20 years ago. I know there was like a slight brief gap in there somewhere, but overall, it's been 2 decades. Blaze Garza joined, I guess, in 2004, so about 2 decades for him as well. And then, of course, founders Gordon Gannon and Brian Ritchie. So are you all just sort of a well-oiled machine at this point? I mean, you all go back decades now.
Yes, we are. Yeah. It's funny because people ask the question, so when you guys get together and rehearse, no.
You're like, we don't rehearse?
No.
We know it, in and out.
Yeah. That's because we are a well-oiled machine. I mean, listen, we'll work on certain things like in a dressing room before the show.
Sure.
Like whether it's Brian or Gordon, says, hey, listen, we want to do this or that, and we haven't done it in a while, we'll run it in the dressing room, but rehearsals, not so much. No, the band is tight like that, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, 2 decades with anybody, you probably could finish each other's sentences at this point, or drum solos.
Oh boy, all the inside jokes and everything. Yeah,
it's great. A little shorthand. That's fantastic. And then do you know anything about the actual venue, the Lyric? Have you played there before? Or
we have played there. Well, Baltimore has been really good to us. I mean, the Lyric, I believe we've played there before, but it's one of those things where I have to be there, and once I'm in the house, I'll say, "Oh yeah, I remember playing. Yes, yeah. Okay, I remember this place.
That's my bead of sweat dripping from the wall. Oh, I remember it now.
You remember the door for load-in and the backstage door. You remember the dressing rooms, and then you go, "Oh yeah, I remember we were here." Yeah, and Baltimore is really cool. I actually it has a lot of similarities to Milwaukee, in my opinion.
How so? If you want to elaborate,
I don't. Well, it's East Coast, so there's a little bit of a different vibe, but it's got that working class kind of grit, an honest, real kind of city. I actually always loved Baltimore. I love it.
Obviously urban, huge city, but at the same time, it's got like a blue collar grit, like you're saying.
Yes.
Camden Yards has the whole warehouse. There's a bunch of ports like you picture in the Wire.
Fells Point,
all that stuff.
I love Fells Point. Yeah. Going over there and getting food and sure.
Yeah, plus I guess Milwaukee is the brewers, but we brew Natty Bo here in Baltimore. Baltimore Hun.
No, I really do love this city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's going to be Baltimore Rock City when you guys are done with it. All right.
Oh, of course.
Well, I would love to go sort of chronologically through some of the band's history. Obviously, I know you joined a couple decades into it, so I guess for the beginning, maybe just relay some of the founding stories and stuff that you've heard from the other guys, and then we'll get to where you jump in. But I'd like to move chronologically if we can. So, I guess they form in Milwaukee in what, like 81? I guess. How did those
correct.
guys? Was there a folk punk alt rock scene in Wisconsin, or what? How did that bubble up?
Well, I mean, there was a punk scene, a rock scene, a new wave scene, of course. And from what I know, I've been around these guys for so many years, and I'm friends with Victor, and I knew him before he came back to the band. But so I know a lot of these kind of the story. They met. It was Brian and Victor who were actually in a band, Dance and Trance band.
Oh, cool.
That was with some other guys here in Milwaukee. And I forgot, Brian had met someone that said, you have to see this guy. He's like a pint-sized Lou Reed.
Pint-sized Lou Reed. All right.
That's what I believe how it was said, right?
I like it.
And so Brian and Victor went to go see Gordon playing at a club here in Milwaukee. And then I think it just snowballed from there.
Gotcha. And
thank God.
Thank God. I said Gordon Gano. We had a kicker here on the Washington football team that was Graham Gunno.
I just saw him the other day.
Really?
I was watching, and I was with my girlfriend. We were laughing about that. She said, you think he's related to Gordon? I said, no.
No, it's actually Gordon. He puts down the microphone and straps on a helmet and goes kicks a field goal. Then he comes back to your show.
I think Gordon likes baseball a lot. He and I like to talk about baseball.
What, like Robin Yount and all that?
Yeah. And it's funny because Blister and His Son was in a movie about the 1982 Brewers. And I went to the screening and all that. And I met a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
Then made friends with Charlie Moore. Charlie Moore ended up coming to one of our shows in Alabama. And I said, hey, Gordon, Charlie Moore is here. Do you want to meet? He's like, yeah. And so it was really talk about that was really a trip, to see, because I grew up with the 82 Brewers and living here in Milwaukee. And then, of course, with the Femmes, the Femmes were my first concert. And I'm like growing up with the Brewers and being a baseball fan and all that. And then later on in 91, going to see the Femmes as my first rock concert. Yeah. And now I'm seeing Gordon and Charlie Moore hanging out.
Worlds colliding, Jerry. Worlds colliding.
Dude, it was awesome.
That's so cool. What year were you born? And we're going to I guess we'll do parallel tracks here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was born in 76. So I'm 49.
Then if you were born in 76, their first album comes out in 83. So basically all through the 80s. Yeah, that's your formative year. So yeah, you mentioned Blister in the Sun being in a movie about the Brewers. But of course, that was on the first self-titled debut album, Violent Femmes, in 83. But the movie that most people remembered on was Grosse Point Blank, John Cusack and Minnie Driver. And it was like re-released as a single in 97, right? So I think a lot of people, at least my age, because it, I guess, was pushed out again with that movie, it felt like that belonged to us. It was part of our 90s punk scene. But actually, it came out like it was 80s. So yeah, there are probably two different generations, maybe Gen X in the 80s and us elder millennials in the 90s that kind of, we claim that song as our adolescence,
Hey, that's a really good point. How old are you?
I was born in 84. Yeah. So I was like the very beginning. I think 82 might be the cutoff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great point you make, because I talk to a lot of people and they're like, oh man, the Femmes, they're like one of the greatest like grunge bands that came out of the grunge period from the night. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
They were selling out theaters in the 80s, man.
Long before. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think, but I'm happy that you can claim that. I'll be honest with you. I'm Gen X, but when I started actually getting into playing drums, that's how I was introduced to the Femmes, is through that whole grunge period.
Nice.
So it was them and Primus and Nine Inch Nails and all those different bands that were kind of happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize at the time, they had been around, and they started in the 80s. And then I got a bootleg VHS tape of them playing somewhere in Europe. But yeah, a lot of people really overlook that fact,
Yeah.
But that's the other thing too. I was just talking to someone the other day about this. The Femmes are timeless.
Yeah.
The sound, it never go. And I'm not saying it because I'm in the band.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it because I have to say it. No. But the band is timeless. The message is timeless. It's a rite of passage. And I don't think that's lost on the guys either. Certainly, it's not lost on me, because I'm proud to be upholding that. What that is. But
absolutely.
It's really amazing, isn't it?
It's awesome how long you all have kept it going. But whenever I hear Blister in the Sun, I could walk down to a bar tonight, and if there's a cover band playing sort of that era of music, a lot of times they'll play Blister in the Sun. It's like a go-to on every other band's set list. So
sure, they play it in the baseball stadiums too.
Yeah, all the time, all the time. I guess because we're all sitting out in the sun getting blisters. But anyway, we've talked about Blister in the Sun in pop culture. But do you have any stories on how they put it together, like as a song? In terms of them in the studio?
No, I don't. Well, they recorded that in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. That part I do know. Okay. I think it was in July of 82.
Okay.
And it's funny because a lot of people will ask, the whole thing, like, so what's that song about?
Yeah.
And then Gord says, he'll often say, no, it's not about that. People, whatever they think the song's about. I believe, and I don't quote me on this, but I believe that Gordon wrote that song for a female artist here in Milwaukee. I think it was like a poetry slam or something like. I forgot what it was, what the reason the event was. But Gordon wrote that for this female or this other person, and it turned into what it is now, from what I've gathered.
Oh, people go nuts with it. Yeah. Let me go on. People just bouncing all over the moshing. They love
it. Brian, we back, about 2013, Brian used to like to play that first and watch everybody like, oh no. Oh,
I'm not amped up enough. I need another beer.
No, they're just getting their beer and
spilling it everywhere. Oh, that's really fun. Well, because it starts slow. Ding, 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 ding. So I guess they have a second to jug it, but then once it kicks, you better be ready. That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, that's obviously the first album. The second one, Hallowed Ground, has country death song, a little banjo, almost even a little different sound. Do you guys still mix in some of that? Because that has a folkier sound and some horrific lyrics, if you think some of those.
Well, so like I was saying, we were doing just recently on these past tours, we were playing the first album in its entirety and Hallowed Ground in its entirety.
Yeah.
Although it was, the second album and then the first album. That's how we did it. We had a break in the middle. So playing all those songs, I love the album. Yeah. It's not because I have to say this, but I love all the albums.
Yeah.
But I do really, it's a fantastic album.
And genuinely love it.
Well, and from what I gather, a lot of those songs are on that album. They already had, at the same time that they had the first album. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they kind of, said, okay, we're going to do, these are going to be on this album. And then they went to the second album and,
Gotcha.
From what I gather, yeah.
I gotcha. Well, that's cool that folks got to see the first and second album in its entirety. But you'll hear some sprinklings of them still if you come to Baltimore.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would like to jump to the third album, The Blind leading The Naked in 86. So you're about 10 years old at this point, I guess. I believe
I love how you're bringing in my age.
Well, I just we're doing parallel tracks here, baby. Hey, man, sure. I was 2, so I'm dating myself as well.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it was the Violent Femmes' first album to crack the Billboard Top 200 albums chart. So a wider audience is starting to take note here. I think it had a cover of T-Rex, The Children of the Revolution. You also had an original song. The opening track was Old Mother Reagan. So based on those 2 titles, was there's some revolution going on. Was it like protesting Reaganomics, or try to tie it to the age that it came out?
Well, I can't speak for them and what their mindset was, but if you think about the times, it's quite relative, to what was going on. And that was produced by Jerry Harrison, who's from the Talking Heads, the keyboard player, who's actually from here in Milwaukee.
He's come on this show before.
Jerry's a very nice guy. He sits, he's really nice, and he sits in with us on a number of occasions.
That's awesome. You may find yourself sitting in with the Violent Femmes, and you may find yourself at a Brewers game. No,
this isn't my lovely band.
You may find yourself in a Luca Brasi t-shirt. No, that's great. Well, all right. Well, then I always got a kick that the fourth album was called 3. I mean, were they just having fun with it? It should be called 4, but they called it 3. But in all seriousness, it was more stripped down, like acoustic vibe, right, on that one?
Yeah, and me personally, my favorite albums are the first one. I love them all, again, but it's the first one and 3.
Really?
I love 3, yeah.
So actually 1 and 4, but 1
Mother
and
of a Girl.
Yeah.
Every so often I'll look at Gordon, I'll say, hey, can we play Mother of a Girl tonight? Because he starts it, right? Yeah. Usually Brian calls a set.
Yeah.
So every so often Gordon will he'll lob me one and he'll start it. And I'm like, I'll get the
You mean sometimes it's not actually on the set, but you're behind the drums and you like whisper, hey, can we play Mother of a Girl?
No, I don't do it on maybe. No.
You mean more like backstage when you're putting the set together?
Yeah. But Brian calls a set. He's the music director, but every so often I'll throw that out there because Brian wouldn't typically call that,
Well, best of luck whispering it in his ear for Baltimore. We'd love to hear it. All right, moving right along. 5th album, Why Do Birds Sing, 91. And so I think this is around when you say you starting to listen to him in the 90s.
Right. And this was that's right. And so I, of course, already have been listening to the first album, all the albums.
Right.
And then I'm listening to the radio and I'm this kid going to play in polka band. I'm playing polka gigs and all that.
Really?
On the radio. Yeah. I started off playing polka music,
Did you tour with John Candy in the back of that Home Alone van?
No, but my dad
Kings
played
of the Midwest. That's it. Sheboygan. Milwaukee, not too far.
That's true. My dad played with Frankie Yankovic.
Really?
My dad is a drummer, yeah.
Wow.
So I would go to my gigs and I would hear American music.
That was the opening
on
track,
the radio,
right? That was the opening track.
Yeah, and that did really well. Yeah.
And wasn't it produced? The whole album was produced by like the same guy that did some of the Chili Pepper stuff. And I guess the big notable thing is I believe it's the last one with the original drummer Victor De Lorenzo, who left to pursue like a Hollywood career or something around after that.
Oh yeah. He went and had a solo career. Yeah,
right,
and he's an actor as well. He does theater and film. Yeah,
cool. So sort of like the last hurrah for that original nucleus. But as you said, keeping it going. The 6th album, New Times, fitting title, 94.
That's a great album, and that's where Guy Hoffman came in.
Is that why it's called New Times and Breaking Up? Like songs like that? Are they commenting on that? It's
Breaking Up. They had since way back before they did the first. That's an older song.
But New Times is new drummer and New Times. Grunge is here and all that stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. I can't answer for that, but that was when Guy Hoffman came in, and he's from Milwaukee as well.
Yeah,
really sweet guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that album. That album is more rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love playing all those songs off. Anytime we play any of those songs, I love all the songs. Yeah,
it's got to be really hard to pick. You're probably whispering a bunch. Add that to the set.
I only whisper "Mother of a Girl." The rest
Mother of a Girl. Yeah,
that's a deep cut.
That's a really good. Well, yeah, and it's a good problem to have that is so hard to choose. That's a good problem to have. But yeah, just in general, around that time. So you're saying New Times is 94. You love that album. Then,
Oh yeah.
then the seventh album, Rock, with like 5 exclamation points or something, comes
Yep.
out in 95. I believe that was like the first album not to make the Billboard 200 chart since Hello Ground, maybe, or early 80s. Was that seen as like a downturn for the band, or did they not really care? I mean, I guess Nirvana, Pearl Jam, all the grunge you're talking about had started coming. I guess Green Day's Dookie was 94. Is punk rock sort of evolving, and Violent Femmes is trying to figure out where we fit in? So we put out Rock, or I don't know. Where do you think it was, like, in music's trajectory? Where was the band finding itself?
Well, I have to be honest with you. I've never really had conversations about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't come up.
But did you enjoy the album then, from your perspective?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What will we hear off of Rock? Anything? You want to tease a song on this set list in Baltimore?
No, I can't, because Brian's the one that calls this.
Yeah.
I'm pointing over this way, like Brian, because that's where Brian is.
He might be. He could be off screen. We don't know.
Listen, sometimes he just shows up here and walks in the house when he's in town, and I love him, but you never know. Is right. No, I have no idea. That's up to Brian.
That's good. Well, and that's good that you're not just guaranteeing certain songs, because you don't want to overpromise and under-deliver. You know, let Brian make the set. No. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, there's only a couple more left, and we will hit on all the albums. And thanks for indulging me. But I guess as the new millennium,
you're really involved. You really put in the time. I like to
do the research, because I know there's a lot of hardcore Femmes fans, and if you skip, if I just talk about the big hits and you skip some of the albums in between, they're like, well, you skipped my favorite one. So anyway,
right.
But we're almost polished it off, folks. I want to get into the new millennium, so Y2K, all that happens. And the 8th album, Freak Magnet, comes out in 2000, I guess right before 9/11, if we're, charting history. But the title track, Freak Magnet, Hollywood is High, is also on there.
That's another favorite. That album is another favorite of mine.
Yeah.
So and we play so many of those songs off that album. I really like it.
Yeah.
There's so many songs off that album that we may or may not play, where we don't play often, and I love them. Yeah. Right. It's a great album.
Yeah, a lot of fans will dig that and be hoping at least one or two off of that. So hopefully, but again, it's up to Brian. But hopefully,
that's right. Now you're catching on.
I'm catching on. All right, and then at this point, finally, our two parallel tracks here of you, the Violent Femmes fan, and Violent Femmes, the band, finally are going to cross paths here, because you join, at least like touring wise, with them from 2005 to 2009, and then again 2013 to present, right? So remind maybe our less hardcore fans, remind how drummer Brian Viglione fits in, because he's brought in for that 9th album, We Can Do Anything, in 2016, but you had been with them, on and off.
Yeah, I was playing cajon, right? I came in playing cajon, and
you were like percussion in the background and backing vocals and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, and Brian he's a great guy, and he came in after Victor left. That was 2013, I think, right?
Well, wait, did he come after Victor or after Guy Hoffman?
He came in after Victor. Victor came back, so we did.
Oh, he came back. Okay.
Right, we got the offer to do Coachella, and then we did Coachella and Bottle Rock. I think I might be missing one, and we did in here in Milwaukee at the Marcus Amphitheater. Wow. And then Victor left, and then they brought in Brian Biglione from Dresden Dolls, right?
Okay,
and then we did that album while we were on tour with Bare Naked Ladies, and we did that on off days.
We Can Do Anything. You were like writing it in the off day. Okay.
Yeah. And Kevin Hearn from Bare Naked Ladies played on I think he played on a number of tracks.
Nice.
But and he did the cover art, which is really cool. And then so now we do all that recording. We finish up the tour. We might have done a couple other dates.
Yeah.
And then Vig, we call it Vig, Vig left, and then it was just like, okay, well, I'm going to take over, and I'm going to do all of it. Yeah,
up, baby.
Yeah.
Wally Pipp steps down, and Lou Gehrig comes in, and he never relinquishes it.
I was hoping you weren't going to say Luca Brasi.
No, we've had plenty of those references. But that's cool. I'm glad that you went into all the Coachella and everything and the touring, because if you're just looking at it listed, it looks like there's a big gap, a hiatus between Freak Magnet and We Can Do Anything of like 16 years or something. But you guys were doing Coachella. You're playing all these big shows in between there. You already had so many albums and hits to choose from, so you're still rocking and rolling.
Yeah, well, and I have to say too, before We Can Do Anything, we did Happy New Year, which is an EP, and that one's great. Yeah, we recorded that in Australia.
Okay, cool.
So I don't want that one to go by the wayside. Yeah, and get passed over. Right, and then we did We Can Do Anything when we were on tour with Bare Naked Ladies, and then after, well, and now hold on, there's one that you missed. We did when Victor was still in the band. We did a cover of Crazy by Gnarls Barkley.
Oh, that think me crazy. That one.
Yeah.
Isn't that CeeLo Green? It was Gnarls Barkley, right?
Yeah. Because how that happened was he did a cover of Gone Daddy Gone, and then we were approached to now in turn do a cover of Crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, so I don't want that one to go by either. I don't want that one to be missed. It was really good. It turned out nice.
Yeah, thanks for dropping that in there. All right, cool. Well, then that brings us to the last one we need to mention. Then was Hotel Last Resort in 2019, the 10th album, and I guess your first studio, full length album as the full time drummer, even though you'd been there since 2005 in the background.
Yeah.
But this stepping into the drum kit officially yourself for an album, what was the experience like?
It wasn't
same.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, cool. I hadn't been around already for so long.
Yeah.
It didn't get into my head, or it was weird. I'm like, oh wow, now I finally get to play drums. I didn't think in that way.
Right.
It just, I mean, I love it. I love the album and I love all the songs. And Tom Verlaine was on. We had him on the track. And I didn't think about it in that way. I was just happy, that we had put out another album. Yeah. It was nothing more than that.
Awesome.
It was nice for Blaze and I, looking back at that, where we were on the album, like we're really on an album, you know what I mean? Full on. That part I really like.
Well, that brings us full circle to this tour. And I know we're up against the clock, but I guess, do you all plan on releasing any more?
You never know. It really comes down to Brian and Gord. It comes down to what they want to do, And of course, I'm gonna be there, and you're gonna have to, carry me out of that band because I'm not leaving,
That's what I'm saying. So, you're the Lou Gehrig.
Whatever.
Wally Pipp was the first baseman who took a day off, and that was quoted a lot when Ripken broke Gehrig's streak. A lot of people were like, "Yeah, see, you can't."
I loved Ripken.
Take a day off.
I loved him.
Yeah, you lose your spot. Yeah.
No, there is no day off. You're right. Yeah, and I love Ripken. He was a great player, and he played infield. I'm a big baseball fan, and you have to be scrappy and show up every day. And I guess that would be what I would like to be compared to, if anything, like a Ripken, for the Femmes.
Yeah. Well, you're coming to Baltimore, so feel free to say that.
I love
crowd.
it there.
They'll cheer. They'll eat that up if you say that to our Baltimore crowd.
Man,
it's great because the streak him breaking if we just celebrated the 30th anniversary of it. It was September 6, 1995. So it was actually this month, 30 years ago. Major League Baseball had canceled the World Series because the players went on strike in 94, the year before.
Right.
Remember?
Right.
The poor Montreal Expos probably were going to go all the way that year and then never even got a shot. But anyway, so the World Series. So a lot of fans were like, screw baseball. They're just rich, entitled people, holding out for more money or whatever. But then Ripken's streak, which was the antithesis of that, lunch pail, show up every day, punch the card like you do as a drummer. I think that sort of saved baseball. And then the home run steroid chase afterwards probably really catapulted it with McGuire Sosa. But you go back to Ripken, that to me, that's like how it's supposed to be played. Not to mention, MVP and all that. He was a great on the field, but like his workmanlike ethic, awesome.
Hey, where is he from?
Good question. He lives here now. He lives like in like Aberdeen and stuff, but I'm assuming he was from here. Let me see. Havre de Grace, Maryland. Yeah, because remember his dad, Cal Sr., was with
his coach, and his brother played too.
Billy, right? Yeah, second base.
Billy.
So they were like turning, double plays.
What a cool story, huh?
And their dad coaching. Story. That was awesome.
Yeah, but Baltimore having that work ethic, it goes back to
at the beginning of the interview. You said it was a gritty blue collar.
And so it really says a lot. There's quite a correlation there with all of it.
Awesome. That's the perfect place to leave it then. We're talking Baltimore. You're the gritty, workmanlike ethic, never missing a day. And you can't miss Violent Femmes at the Lyric in Baltimore, Maryland, October 5th. Drummer John Sparrow is going to be giving it everything he has because he's the Ripken of Milwaukee now. Okay.
Oh, man. Listen, the rest of my day is going to be amazing now.
What?
We have
a soundbite calling you the Ripken of
I'll take it
Milwaukee
any day.
Rock.
Any day, I'll take that one.
Well, you started out, I was calling you Luca Brasi, and now we're ending with you being Cal Ripken. So we've covered some ground, my friend.
That's awesome.
But seriously, everybody buy your tickets for the 5th at the Lyric in Baltimore. You don't want to miss it. Legendary band. This is going to be great. Hey, John, thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Thank you. Yeah, likewise.
All right. See you in Baltimore.
All right. Take care. Yes, I'll be there. Always.
All right. Bye.
Take care.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.